Welcome to the Permission Slip podcast, where I, empowerment coach, mindset expert, and holistic nutritionist Carmen Oling, share with you the tools, conversations, and resources you need to write your own permission slip, take massive action, and become obsessed with your own life. Let's get started.
So I think one of my biggest lessons from Tulum was the reinforcement of what is meant for me will not pass me. And it's always going to be this or something better. So I want to say this to you as we end. Don't use that. So I want to say this to you as we end. Fluir es vivir, which means to flow is to live. Welcome back to the Permission Slip podcast. Okay, this episode, I know I promised last week I was going to do a download of our Tulum trip. And so that's what this is going to be about. But it's also going to be about what I learned and the discoveries and how fun that part was as well. So back in, what year are we in? Does anyone lose track of the year because of the pandemic and just the weird things that have happened recently? But anyway, so not this year, but 2020, I turned 40 and Joel and I planned a trip to Tulum. In fact, even prior to that, I was getting so many messages and so many downloads around wanting to move to Tulum. I thought that was my place because my manifestation I had been working on for a while was I want to wake up more days than not near the beach, near the ocean. And Tulum was just coming at me right and left. And so I started speaking that and declaring that over my life that we were going to be blessed with that. So we're like, let's plan a trip. And if you go to Tulum, this is how it works. So there's two areas. There is the downtown Tulum, or the city, the town of Tulum. And there's this one main road. Well, actually there's two roads that go to the beach. And within the beach zone, you have your beach zone and your hotel zone. So there's the beach zone that has all the public beach area, and then all the restaurants and resorts that you can go to that are on the beachfront. Which, by the way, if you go down to the hotel zone and you want to go to the beach, the free beach is so small on the hotel zone. So you want to make sure to bring some money to pay to get into one of the resorts or the restaurants to be able to experience the beach there. FYI, I'd probably say around $50 US for the day. So we were thinking, if we're going to move there, let's pick a place to stay that's more in the downtown, the city area. So we ended up staying in an area that was called La Villeta. And there's two newer up and coming neighborhoods in the town of Tulum. I'm probably butchering how to say the other one. It's Aldea Zuma. And there's lots of new construction going up, condos, that open, modern, clean floor plan. And then also in La Villeta as well. And we stayed in La Villeta at a hotel called Holistica Tulum. So we were all set to go for my 40th birthday in 2020, but my passport renewal didn't come back. It took 6 months. And I thought, nobody's fucking traveling right now. Why is my passport taking so long? And so I was really upset by that because I was like, okay, I am getting all these downloads that were supposed to be in Tulum, maybe even move there. How are we going to move there? How am I going to realize my dream of waking up by the ocean and the beach more days than not? If we don't get to Tulum. So I just told Joel, we're going to cancel. And this was last year. And he goes, no, let's do something for your birthday. I was like, fine. So I get on Google and I Google warmest beach in the United States, because obviously I don't have my passport, in January, because my birthday is January 4th, and Miami Beach came up. So we ended up coming to Miami Beach, and we actually fell in love with it so much that when we went home, we were sitting on the couch, and this is we're living in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And it was freezing, by the way. I think during this time it was like close to zero or negative. Joel looks at me and he says, you know what, Carmen, I think Miami's your beach. And this excitement, like this energy in my body, it was like everything screamed yes. And I said, I loved it. Did you? And he goes, I did. I said, let's go. So everything just worked out so easily. Our condo lease was up in February in Colorado. We booked another trip very easily to Miami to come and find a condo here. And that's how we ended up in Miami Beach. And let me tell you, I call it my bliss bubble. Seriously, I love it here. I walk or ride my bike everywhere. The weather is beautiful. It is a melting pot of culture. Joel and I have started taking Spanish lessons. Now we're working on our Espanol, which has been super fun. And so the next year came around, and the hotel that we stayed at just a few weeks ago in January for my birthday was called Holistica Tulum. Like I said, it was more in the city, in the downtown area, in that La Valletta area. And so we rebooked. The hotel was great. We were able to postpone our trip without any additional fees or anything. And so we were set to go for a week. And that's what I want to give you the recap on. So I already told you about the areas. So the two up and coming neighborhood areas that are pretty safe are that La Valletta and Aldea Zuma. And then Holistica Tulum is where we stayed in the La Valletta area. And we decided, so there's multiple ways that you can get around in Tulum. You can rent a car we flew into Cancun. And when you drive from Cancun to Tulum, it takes about 1.5 to 2 hours, depending on the traffic. We didn't know about parking and driving and all of that. We decided to forego the car rental, and we got a private shuttle. So it was $130 from Cancun to the hotel, and then the same thing on the way back. But something that we did do is, because getting around town without a car, you can take a taxi, which we never took a taxi. But taxis are pretty pricey based on the information that I received in such a small city. But we did rent a scooter, and a scooter is about $40 US, which, by the way, do take US dollars and pesos. I know our bank will give us an exchange of international currency, foreign currency, for free. We bank at Chase. So we got some pesos, and we have our US dollars. So always have cash. And we rented a scooter to get around, which was a super fun way. If you've never rode double on a scooter, we do it in Vegas too. And it's always been something that we've really, really enjoyed. However, in Tulum, it's still up and coming. So like, if you think about it, Cancun was first, and that was like the up and coming place. Everybody wanted to go there, and it's fully developed. And then moving on down south, you have Playa del Carmen, which my beach, right? Maybe I think we're thinking about going back there, and it's more developed now, and then continue moving on. And now it's Tulum. So a lot of the streets are still dirt. A lot of the streets have so many potholes. In fact, one day it rained so much, which the weather was really great, except it does like these horrific rains, and there is no drainage system there in Tulum. And so there's huge puddles in the street. So trying to get places, like in front of our hotel, there's like these huge lakes that were just in the street, which caused it to be a little challenging, especially if all the roads have potholes, especially if you're riding double on a scooter. So with that scooter, we ended up getting a flat tire, and it ended up breaking down when we were at one of the cenotes. But we did take some time to drive from the downtown, the town area, to the beach zone and to the hotel zone. So within the beach area, there's the beach area where you could go to the beach. We ended up going to a place called Gitano Beach, which was so super cute. And come to find out, there's a Gitano Beach here. There's two in Tulum, and then one here in Miami Beach. Like, I was like, how funny that that was the one place that we picked to go in the beach zone. So it's a restaurant and bar, and then it has, I think, at nighttime music and like a really pretty beach area that you can go to with some rocks and some white sand in the ocean. That was super cute. They had the best playlist going. Shit, I'm gonna put it in the show notes for you because it's like popular music set to like beach vibes. I don't know how to describe it, but you have to click on it. I'll put the Spotify link in the show notes. So we went to Gitano Beach. Now, the hard part with being there in January, it's busy season. And so when you're near the beach, there's only one road that goes up and down the coastline, and it's just lined with people, cars, people on bicycles, and that's where all the hotels and restaurants and the beach is. And so it was really, really congested. So it made it not as desirable for us to go down there, but we still wanted to check it out. We also went and checked out the hotel zone and went and checked out some of the hotels. And so if you're really into going to Tulum, I would recommend checking out and staying in the beach zone and just staying at one of the resorts and then walking or riding a bike along that road that I'm describing to you. And I mean, you could go into the town if you wanted to, but all the pictures that you see on Instagram that are so Instagram worthy and so much peace and all of this, those are at all of the hotels that are on the beach zone. Well, our hotel was like that as well. But if you go away from the hotels, then that's when it's different. So some of the hotels in that beach zone, Amansala, there's one that I don't know how to pronounce it, Azulik. There's a Papaya Playa project, which has like tree forts that you can stay in. Now, all of these are pretty pricey. There are a couple all-inclusives, a handful of them. A couple of them are Core and Dream, Tulum, and those are all-inclusive. But if you pick one of those, then you can stay on the beach zone, and you don't really have to worry about transportation. You could just get yourself there and you could chill. And why I'm telling you this is because, so what happened with us, we rented the scooter for the week that we were there. We went down and it was so busy in the beach zone. So we decided to come back. And that night we went out and we got a flat tire. So we had to push the scooter back and get a new scooter. The next day, we wanted to go to the hotel zone down on the beach, and it was just so busy. It made it not as fun. And then we went to a couple cenotes. There are so many cenotes in the area. Cenotes are these underground caves of water. They are so clean, so crisp. And being in that water was just warm and wonderful and inviting. You know, there were so many times I was like, I'm not even going to bring my phone with me. I really disconnected while we were there. But side note, I learned really quick that I need my phone, one, for directions, two, to translate English to Spanish because I'm still learning, and three, to convert pesos and dollars. So learned that really quick. I thought I was like, I'm disconnecting and not bringing my phone. Granted, you still could do it, but we did need a phone a little bit. So at the cenotes, I even like got up on this big platform, and I was scared, and I was like, took me a minute to do it, but I jumped into the cenote. They're really beautiful. We went to the Escondido cenote, and then it's like combined with another cenote. I want to say it was like $20 US per person to go to both of them. It was really fun. So the cenotes are really wonderful, and we got there by scooter. But we went to the first cenote and then went to the next one, and the throttles stopped working on our scooter. So by this time, it had been so busy in the beach zone on the scooter. We got a flat tire on the scooter. It rained so hard one day we couldn't drive the scooter because there was so many puddles in the road, and there's no drainage at all, and there's potholes and it's all dirt, and yeah, it was challenging. And then the scooter breaks down. So Joel and I decide that we are, you know, this is like multiple signs from God, from the universe telling us like, just stay your ass at the hotel where you're at. And once we made this decision, it was just so beautiful at our hotel, Holistica Tulum. And then there's a sister hotel that's right by it called Tiki Tiki. That's where we rented the scooter from. Once we made this decision, like everything was just so beautiful. We were at the pool for lengthy, like we just lost track of time. We deeply connected with nature, ourselves, God, and each other. We had some of the best experiences. Now, the restaurant at our hotel is all vegetarian. They source it from local farms. They make everything scratch. I loved it. Granted, I do eat meat. I loved it. Joel didn't love it as much. It's a very much wellness centered hotel. So they have yoga shalas, they have an art walk, they have so many ceremonies. We went to a sound healing ceremony, a Reiki ceremony, meditation. They have a fire ceremony. They have like the sweat lodge ceremonies. I'm definitely going to go back to this with a girlfriend or by myself. And I loved it. They don't have any alcohol or bar there. If that's something that you're interested in and you stay at this hotel, the sister hotel, Tiki Tiki, which is just like a 2-minute walk away, they do have a bar and that sort of thing over there. But what I learned was sometimes the plan that we have in our head, because I was also looking for resorts, which we did a little bit, to host the October permission slip retreat in Tulum. And we have a certain plan in our head, but sometimes when we're not listening to the universe, when we're not listening to the flow, to the messages that we're receiving, it can feel frustrating. It can feel restricting instead of expansive. And once we let go of having to go here or there, doing that, doing all of the things that everyone talks about when you have to go to Tulum and just doing what felt so good to us, it was so magical. So that was definitely one of the lessons. And I wrote in my journal every single day, and I wanted to share something with you. After yesterday's quest to challenge my thinking about how I live, why I do certain things certain ways, so that was something I was working on, kind of an intention for the day and try to discover while we were in Tulum, I realized that my goal of not rushing is how most people live here. So how most people live in Tulum. Food is cooked fresh, conversations linger without getting distracted, and people wait patiently. They have peace within. How good does that feel? And I wrote, curious if this is simply a mirror for myself, reinforcing what I truly desire and strive for in my daily life. And then I just said, I'm excited to explore this more during our time here in Tulum. And I'm so appreciative of the opportunity to be here. And so it was such a gift to be in Tulum. And two of the biggest lessons that I learned, number one is what is meant for you will not pass you. Joel and I loved our time in Tulum. We did. After we realized that it wasn't our plan, the plan was already set for us, and we just need to relax into the moment. And the peace begins within, and just like live so simply. Granted, there's no TVs, no alarm clock. There's not even a hot water where we were at. You're not supposed to flush the toilet paper down the toilet because there's not a good plumbing system. I'm telling you, it's still like all up and coming. So all the pictures you see online, it's a little bit different when you get there. But once we relaxed and really started having such a great time, we realized that, wow, we are so blessed to live in Miami Beach. We absolutely love it so much. And really realizing what's meant for you will not pass you. Remember how I told you I was so upset that we didn't get to go to Tulum in 2020, and I just knew we were supposed to be there. But instead, God brought us to Miami Beach and we ended up moving here. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I don't want to live in Tulum anymore. And I love Miami Beach. So what I want you to hear is what's meant for you will not pass you. And it's always going to be that thing that you want and desire, or something even better. And this Miami Beach Tulum story is a true testament to that. It's always going to be this or something better. So that's what I wanted to share with you today about Tulum. Just a little bit more about it if you're planning on visiting. I want to hear from you. If you have more questions about Tulum and you're planning to visit, please shoot me a DM at Carmen Oling, and I'll be so more than happy to answer those things for you. But keep in mind, if you have something on your heart and you're really going for it and you're feeling like you're not getting there and you're getting something instead, lean into that. That could be your thing, because what is meant for you, I know 110% will not pass you. Stop white knuckling, stop controlling, and just know that it's always going to be this or something better. And I will leave you with this today. So thank you so much for listening. Fluir es viver. To flow is to live.